Yeah. I think I should reverse this. Make an quadratic polynomial clause that contains a scale instead of this way. And I don't want it to include the plot stuff. Oh. Plot is used in raw indicators, erase indicators, hopefully nowhere else. There. These functions are called at the end, except this one. Although more or less also, but sometimes it's not called. Suppose it is only called when the scale changed. To upon that call here. me think. I guess I can, or yeah, can make this return a boolean that tells me if sample was changed, skill was changed. I have two update functions. So you would say the W is changed. It's not trivial or easy, I think. We have more than two samples. The direction is horizontal direction is either unknown or the vertical direction is less than 0. Well, times is a bad inverse, which means that we don't have an extreme to go to. Okay, so in this case we do have an extreme. This is the jump to to the extreme. I think at that point I should reset the scale and stuff. Start over. which means that I should consider relative samples to be equal to 1, and therefore this is... Wait a minute, I don't want to do an update. I have the feeling that I can remove this update here. Vx. Okay, I'm just going to change this update. What? I'm not assigning a skill anymore. No, okay. Tja. Can you check if you are derived from an incomplete clause? No clue. I think I did that before. Yeah, so that works. Just forward declared here, and then I use it anyway for the concept. Yeah, I'm not sure I can use it here, but well, let's try it. I don't like the all caps. Just call it S. Could call it T maybe. Well, why not call it S then? Okay, I'm gonna call it T. Let me see. The boost intrusive pointer is included from the AI ref count. I need the traits over this base. Type traits. And this, yeah, well, for now, I guess I'll add it. I think that's defined in quadratic polynomial in the current directory. Not too sure standard forward is declared. Standard apps is in math. I'll probably get that via the quadratic polynomial. Yeah, that has math. That also has print on. Can I print my scale? Yep. But okay, I still need to has print on here. Example good. Stand forward. Pressing the wrong button. What the hell? that too long time. Utility. Is that an underscore actually here? You never know with those standards. Yeah, there is. Right. Yeah, what was I doing? I kind of caught in the meantime. Copying scale, yeah. So I want to remove every trace of I think plot. Should already have done that, right? I just removed functions draw indicators and erase indicators. And I also removed all the calls to it. There's still some plot stuff. Ugh. I think there's actually one exception here. It's possible that the assignment operator must be public, even though it's not used. Maybe that's the case with the copy assignment. So even though I deleted it, it should make it public. Not 100% sure though, just a vague memory. No, let's just make it public. Feels like the best thing to do here. So now I'm calling these two member functions externally, which is not something I'm really liking very much. And we're not drawing the old parabola anymore, which is totally not good. What function came that from? Now I have two of those, of course. Yeah, it was this one. So to even know if I need to call it, I need to know if update succeeded or called initialize. Let's just make this a boolean. False, as it were. Based on that problem. Well, that was already overwritten by the time I can call this now. Yeah, well, let's just pass it as a parameter, I guess. So then this must be called with the old parabola if the other update returns true. Still not the only place where that happens. Yep, pretty much. This thing is just 3 doubles, so not that bad to copy it. The copy needs to be made, I mean, because this function changes it, can't use a reference. Now, I think this should work-ish. Thought I already had deleted it. base class has a private default constructor. Yeah, that's true. No, that's funny. Damn it. I deliberately made my constructor private because I want the user to, which is me, to be forced to use create. And then create should be a friend. Do I have to explicitly add it as a friend now? Because now it's a base class, which is then not the friend of the current class. Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing here. So in order to be able to use create, I have to make the base class a friend. Most of the delay is because I'm a bit puzzled that it complains about this without telling me where it is using the default constructor. Or is it? It's okay. Never mind. Yeah, okay. It's simply because this constructor is using it, so it must be protected then instead of private. It was telling me where. I was expecting it to be somewhere else, so I didn't recognize that. Yeah, what do you? What is all broken at the moment? Well, it did go here. Somewhere. Still didn't draw the 8. It's so strange. Sometimes that gets delayed, and other times it doesn't. Well, most things still work, it seems. Particularly, how does this scale behave? Let me look at that again. I'm getting a scale with 0, and then it keeps 0, and then it jumps to here. Yep, all looks good. I wanted to... Wait a minute, I fixed that. It should swap to 5 immediately. Oh, the whole scale is not updated at all anymore. Okay. Oh, right, of course. That's the because I commented it out. So you have a shitload of fix me's here. Move to the top. Yeah. So I think what I should do is switch to now it's in a base class. That the gradient descent scale has a quadratic polynomial, and I want to switch those. I think I want to have a quadratic polynomial be part of the namespace gradient descent, which then contains a scale instead of a scale containing a quadratic polynomial. Let me think. So the idea is that I'm having an object, which I then call that, which I feed samples, or I reset it. Well, if I want to have a parabola, whatever, that contains a scale, then the scale can't contain the parabola, which means I have to remove it from this class to, let's see where it is being used. It is being used to get a learning rate, but that depends exclusively on the parabola. So that then can be moved to wherever I move the parabola to. And here I'm just setting it whatever it is without actually using it. It's being passed to initialize, but if I don't have it anymore in the scale, then I don't have to pass it. It's not being used. Update should be using it. Yep. And that's being copied then. There's another update that uses it. And that's about it. So the both update functions use the parabola. How do they use it? They use it because they need it. But as a read-only thing. This is just read-only, read the vertex. This gets the value at a certain W coordinate. And this gets the Y coordinate of the vertex. So totally read-only, of course. And here I have the other update, sorry, just the other update is here. Equal intervals. Hello. Znanie. Noi. Znanai. Why does everyone has an unpronounceable name? But hey, hello. Yeah. Equal intervals. Totally const reference. So also just reads the values of the polynomial. So you could take it out, provided that I then pass it to these functions, pass it to the update function. It shouldn't be too hard. I'm already passing a parabola here. That's a new parabola. Okay. Yeah. I feel an open heart surgery coming. So I probably should commit what I have now. Otherwise the div grows over my head. Did I not have a sample concept? Can also use that for the history then. Allow you play game. Samples current search values. Reset. Yeah, well, it's by far finished, but it's probably better to commit than not to commit. That's for sure. The only thing I would lose is the diff, but I'm not really losing the diff, of course. I can just look at the diff from Git anyway, even after I commit, if necessary. Already made an insane amount of changes. This is hardly followable what changed. Okay, I did not commit soon enough. So an indentation diffs, as it were. Okay, well, I think I added fix me at the crucial point, so I can just commit everything and then find back the problem points, the pain points where the fix me is mentioned. This is mostly indentation change. Added an if around everything. New sample is renamed to W. Ish. Okay, the only thing I saw that I want to change is the use of sample for the history. I probably should use here as well concept sample. I still don't like all caps here. Why is history put in gradient descent? In the end, it has to end up there. Yeah, okay. This is the base class of the eventual history that I'm using. You could say, why not, you know? It's pure, what is the word? Aesthetics? It's not exactly the word we're looking for. But I just don't like the look of it. I would like the look of a sample, but I already have a class that is called like that in the same namespace. And I could call it a sample, but no. And then of course you can call it T, but that's going pretty far. Would I still know that it is a sample that I'm returning here when I return T? I'll do it elsewhere. I mean, at least it doesn't look as horrible as the all caps. Oh. Oh, I have a concept scale. I don't have a... What? Okay, so I made a mistake. Damn it. Well, probably should add a concept for the sample as well then. It's also passed as a template parameter. Simple. Required concept simple. No, I don't need to do that with a for declaration. I can just put it at the end here. Concept simple is standard is base of. Or is it just is base? Oh, I've got that again, of course. Yeah, is base of v. Scale comma t. There has to be a template as well. Huh? It's a bit backwards. I wouldn't do that like that. Hence it is confusing. I mean, you have to read this as T is. Oh no, sorry, it is correct. Yeah, sample is the base of T, so the order is correct. Can read it more or less like English in the same order. Yeah, I would say missing namespace. Didn't say did you mean, however. Work in progress. Good. Let's add all these things as well. Git commit should have added them immediately. Okay, yeah, now and then for the big change. This is clean. What do you think? So I want to have instead of the scale, I'm going to work with a parabola, which then encapsulates the scale. So the whole scale drops out. It's going to be a member of the parabola. So let's just begin. Okay. Yeah. So that thing is then also going to replace my parabola approximation that I have somewhere. And I can't type apparently. Parabola approximation, huh? Dude, what the fuck? Apparently I completely called it differently. Okay. Approximation. Parabolic approximation, not parabolic. This one. So this is going to be replaced. And why is it just in a scope here? It's a big scope though, but still. So that is, if we did not already abort, then do all code, 90% of the code, and then handle abort. But it is not something that would survive the loop of the next epoch, which is kind of strange if you ask me. The reason is, oh right, yeah, right. The reason is, of course, that I'm currently just deriving a new parabolic approximation every epoch, and I'm storing this parabola in the scale, and so that's why I want to swap them, right? So therefore this is going to be removed and combined with the scale, which is global, or well, outside the loop anyway. So how am I going to do that? I think I'm going to leave it here for now. So let's replace this thing with parabolic approximation. How shall I call it? Maybe I should call it differently. Yeah, I don't know. Let's call it parabolic approximation 2 for now. Do I also need to allocate this on the heap with reference counting like I did for the scale? I think I do, because the reason for the scale was that I store it in a local minimum that I find, and then afterwards the scale is updated. So I don't want to just make a copy and then hide it somewhere on in a container, but instead I hide a pointer in the container that points to an object which is then updated, and that still holds here. My parabolic approximation is now going to wrap the scale, and the scale still needs updating. However, the scale is going to be updated by a member function of the parabolic approximation. But okay, it's here on the stack, and I need a copy, I think, in the list of minima that I find. Yeah, well, at least one of them anyway. Let's see. Yeah. I would just rather not put it on the heap, but now I'm doing two things at the same time, namely designing this and micro premature optimization. Figure what I mean. Nevertheless, thinking about how many of these objects I need, then it seems that I only need really two of them, like this one. It's kind of like wherever we are, I need a parabolic approximation. And then the best minimum I need to go back to, therefore keep a copy. Hardly requires a pointer. But I need to update them both at the same time. Unless Suppose I'm working on this one and then I decide, hey, this was a minimum. And then I store it in some object somewhere where that represents the minimum. I store my parabolic approximation there as well, and then I want it still to be updated. Well, the scale anyway, afterwards, after that. So maybe I can especially since I'm not updating the parabola anymore. I think I'm only changing the scale. Kind of feels like I could work with a pointer then. So let's say instead of this object, I work with a pointer to it. And then at the moment I find a minimum, I store that minimum and set my pointer to point to that minimum. Until we get detached from that minimum, and then I point it back to my stack thing. Then the update happens because I point to it temporarily, not because the copy points to something on the heap. So then I still have two things. Well, I have my thing on the stack. That's one. And of course, the other one sits in a container, though that is still on the heap then. But yeah, I'm not 100% convinced, I must admit. There is another problem with that, or is there? Yeah, the other potential problem is that I cannot no longer use or work with user clauses. So if I would use an reference counted pointer like I'm doing here, I can use a user clause to. The library knows about the base class of this thing, but I'm telling it to create a scale that is derived from that base class. And then just seamlessly works because you can have a pointer to the base class. Keep the whole thing alive. But if I make a container with this, and I make a copy of that instead of a copy of a pointer, then it has to be exactly that type. Can't derive some user class from this then and store that without lots of template pollution. Yeah, the only thing that I currently want or might want to add is plotting support. Let's have a look if my parabolic approximation has anything to do with. Actually, the scale already has to do with that, of course. So my scale is going to be a custom type, even though it's hidden inside the parabolic approximation. It means that it already contains a pointer anyway then. Ugh. Okay, and the parabolic approximation itself. Yeah, that is just a quadratic polynomial at the moment, which has nothing to do with plotting. I hope. I said, immediately thinking, oh no. I say that, but no, indeed, there's nothing plotting here. It's pure math, pure math. That's why it's put in the namespace math, I guess, also. Yep. Okay, I think I'm going to do that pointer trick then. So let's call this one current. And then I'm going to have a pointer. And I could call that 2, but I might as well add pointer to it now. Which initially points to current. That pointer is then going to replace this. I should just delete this. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to delete this. Parabolic approximation. We need a new class as well. What the F, dude? I just added two things there. Didn't I? That's how I called it. Oh, I typed it wrong. Okay. So now this is derived from the math quadratic polynomial, and this then points to it. Therefore, it is now a perfect replacement of this thing. But yeah, nobody wants to work with a pointer. Not really. So this is then the spot, I guess, where I make it a non-pointer. Parabolic approximation reference. So even though I have a pointer, because I have to change the pointer, I'd rather work with reference. So the reference then can be initialized here. And then everything works again. That is, I now have my same parabolic approximation here. As a base class. It should just compile again, right? And then I want to it's not really the right thing. What is the best small step that I can take to morph this code from one into what I want? From what it is into what I want. I'm suddenly not convinced that I should derive from the class. I just want to have an object that I call methods on to change the state of it. Tough decision. Let me think. Do I want the quadratic polynomial to be a base class or not? No, I don't think so. The thing is with, and before I explain that, let me look how many viewers I have. 4. Is it worth it? Well, I'll explain it in short. So the whole idea of object-oriented programming is that you make user types, classes, and you have to view those objects as something that has an, what is the word? Consistent internal state. So usually the total amount of possible values of the individual members of a class is much larger than what under good circumstances, when the program works, is used or even allowed, aka consistent. Yeah, so the total space of possibilities of a class is much larger, and the subspace that is consistent and that you actually use is, that's what I call the consistent state. And what you want is that you hide all the members, because if you change one member, so you make them all private, because if you change one member, then ignoring the other members, then the chance is big that you leave the consistent space and you just venture into a random direction, and the state of the class becomes inconsistent. then it's a task of all the member functions, which you can view as operators on the state of the class, to keep the state of the class consistent. So that's why I, in this case, really want to make the quadratic polynomial member function instead of the base class. Because if I make it a base class, I just have access to all the public members, and I can change the parabola, the base class, without changing the other members of the parabolic approximation that I'm running. And I think these things are linked, so it must be hidden. The parabolic, the quadratic polynomial must be hidden. So I can update it together with the scale and not separately, if you get what I meant. So that would be a good first step, I suppose. Parabolic. Let's not make it a base class, but a private member instead. And then, of course, everything stops compiling, because I'm trying still to access this thing as if it is a quadratic polynomial. And I'll just have to copy each and every member function of quadratic polynomial that I'm currently using to here, to allow then changing it with the current code, the way the current code works. In the end, I probably have to copy all of it, right? But okay, I'm going to do it one by one, I think, to keep a feeling. This is not necessary, because I'm just going to call the member, which then already has that assert. And yeah, actually this is just parabola. Just use the same operator for now, and then later, of course, if this also changes the scale, then I can do that here. So you see, again, it's kind of a flaw in C++, I feel, that you have to do this. I would say what I would like is to derive from this where all the const things are public and all the non-const things are protected. It's kind of a missing thing. I think maybe it should a new keyword like public const or something like that. It would be a fun thing. Well, okay, copying the whole interface works as well. Just a lot more work. Okay, the next one is the call operator. Valid operand, so binary expression, can't print it. Okay, printing it. Yeah. Hello, 100. I see the 100s. Okay, the printing. How do we print here? What do we print? I'm going to have a separate parabola and a scale in the end. So maybe I should just go the full way. Quote parabola. Then print the parabola. Completely ready to add other members. Now what? Oh, I can't type. I can't type bug. Warning, you can't type. Error, no viable conversion from parabolic approximation to const math. Yeah, so here we can we get the compiler to tell us where the mix-up with the scale happens. So that is very nice of it. Now scale is going to be a member of the parabolic approximation now. No, I remind you, you're late. I've been streaming with 2 hours. 2 hours. Yeah, I thought you have to shift my day as well, otherwise Ninja can't watch. Did you turn notifications off or something? Or were you just busy with other stuff? Not that I mind or whatever you do, but I can imagine that maybe you turned it off because you didn't want to be woken up. Which is then my remark would be, and that is totally different. You can just set your phone to silent, to be silent while you sleep. You know, program in a certain time of the day. From this late till that late, don't make a noise. Yeah, you never miss anything, you know that. It's always the same stuff. Just refactoring stuff. Scale initialize. You see, so I did make a new parabolic approximation apparently, the result being here. And I want to use that to update the scale. But why not? Why did I not do that automatically? Because the scale should be a part of the state of the parabolic approximation object. And if I kept the state consistent, then the scale should already have been updated. So yeah, here it is being finished, I think. This is the end, that literally says here, the end of determining the parabolic approximation. Would be nice if that thing then contained the scale that was already updated as well. Why wait till here? I think the reason I wait till here is because I need more than one relevant sample, and now here scale update is also called. I think this thing should keep a track of the number of relevant samples itself, which means it needs to store samples as well, instead of just getting them from the history. Yeah. Definitely less confusing. But If I feed it samples, that wouldn't be too bad. What have I been feeding to it here? Just the last sample. Previous, current. Just feeding the last sample, like literally. Okay, I think I should do the sample thing first. So add samples to my parabolic approximation, so it can keep track of its own samples. And then I'm asking myself, do I really make a copy of it, or can I just point to the history? I think the last thing is not going to work because I need to make a copy of the parabolic approximation for the sample minima. And then the history is overridden if you venture too far in one direction. Let's just make a copy. One sample is just 24 bytes. Only need to copy 2 of them, keep track of 2 of them. So I want to have in this object now, not just my parabola, but also 2 samples. And I think the samples come first, so let's put them here. Now that'll literally start with 0. Guess that needs explanation as well. So you can initialize it in the initializer list of the constructor, but I don't have a constructor yet. It's just a default constructor. Or if you don't want to add it to the initializer list, then per C++20 you can add it here. And then I can choose between this, which initializes it to some default value, which for built-ins means fill it with zeros. So this sets it to 0. And this also sets it to 0. But I'm rather typing the extra character here because I have my own convention that if I just use 2 braces, then I need it to be initialized, but it does not have the same meaning as it has when you use a value. So in this case it says number of relevant samples, and we literally start with 0 number of relevant samples. We don't have relevant samples, so the value 0 has the same meaning as what the variable represents. Therefore I add a 0. If that would not be the case and the 0 has its own special meaning, like unknown or something like that, then I would not add 0. I would just add 2 braces. Okay, now I need a way to add... very good, Nia. Yeah, awesome, man. I'm looking for It just doesn't exist. But whatever. Where is my keyboard? Now I only smileys here. Really. What is this? No. Okay, I lost my keyboard. I'm looking for a button which just says go back to a keyboard. Maybe escape. Nope. My screen has been polluted with smileys now, and I can't remove them. So annoying. I'm thinking about if the order of the relevant samples matters. So every time I add a new one, I'm only interested in the last two here. So you could, of course, the first one that I add here at index 0, and the next one at index 1, and then we get another one. So I put that one then again. So I put the third at index 0, and then we have really, a random order. I have them both, but I have a random order. Is that problematic? I guess it is not problematic. It would be problematic if I need to know in which direction I'm going, but the parabolic approximation itself doesn't really care about that, I think. So I need another int, which is pointing to the last index or the next index. What the word is better? Let's do next. It's also 0. Okay, and then I can add samples. Let's say just add sample. Let's call it sample. Relevant samples needs to increment it, but not larger than 1. And I don't want to do something expensive. So 0 becomes 1, 1 becomes 2, and that's it. I think you can do a conditional move. do some bit fiddling, but I think that's kind of ridiculous. Let's just do a conditional move. So if it is already 2, then we keep 2, and otherwise we keep. Otherwise we use. Yeah, one more than this. Oh well. And then I want to have a reset, which just throws everything away. Might as well start over at 0. Might as well, probably have to. No. I think this whole block goes into add. Everything, really. So here we're doing parabolic approximation at the current sample. Yep. And that I must do this part. It keeps its own relevant samples. So I can move this to add. And if relevant samples is not 1, then we get here. And that's just this whole block. So you can much well then delete altogether. Now where previous is now, well, we have 2 samples, but it's just the other one than the current one. I did just store sample here. This is the current one, right? Maybe I should call it current because that's what's being passed. Okay, so current, it's put in next index, and then I'm already changing that. So this is the index of previous then. And 1 minus that is the index of current. Or, now let's just make a previous. Let's make a previous here. Sample cons reference previous is relevant samples next index, because we have 2 samples. So now I have previous already, and we have still current. So I can do this calculation as is, except that I use Parabolic here. That should work. Okay, and then we've got the parabolic. Why is it not highlighted? Parabola, dude, really? So parabola 0 isn't set yet. That is the same for both cases. That would be this line. But that evaluates parabola before we set parabola 0, using the fact that, this is 0 before we assign it, and it isn't. I could just set it explicitly to 0 here. Before I was using the fact that the whole thing was filled with zeros during construction, but now I'm using a rotating array. Just yeah, plus I didn't initialize it at all, the array. So it contains junk. It contains junk all the way. I'm going to set it to 0 here. So this evaluates correctly. Well, I might be mistaken, but I would think that then I don't need those proxy things anymore. I mean, you can't really have that anyway, these, because yeah, if I change the parabola, then I have to change the scale and stuff. So I really don't want these things to be here. They should not be here. And hopefully I already don't need it anymore either. And I'm going to delete that as one as well, I think. Let's see if this compiles. Nope, call operator is still being used. So where's that then? Oh, it is while drawing it. Yeah, well, okay. I could leave it in. It's just an accessor. Or I can call it differently. The name of the class kind of suggests that you can just call it as if it is an... no, it doesn't, actually. Well, it's called... No, it's... yeah, well, I don't know. I could make a call operator or maybe something more elaborate. Let me go for something more elaborate. Evaluate or something. Yeah, that still doesn't work. Let me comment this out for a moment to see if there's any other things that need changing or fixing. Progress. Okay, yeah, so the idea was that I'm feeding it samples, which I'm now doing, I guess, and that should update the scale. Just should not be any need anymore, theoretically. And that's why the refactor is good, because this is super confusing, you know, it happens to 3 places, within all kinds of ifs. Is it necessary? Why there? Why not somewhere else? I don't know. If it's true that I can just delete all of this and just do it in the member function of this parabolic approximation, then that would definitely make things a lot more clear. Because I'm still not seeing it. You would think, well, it has to be like that. It has to be that it works if I do it in add. Because scale is exclusively depending on the parabolic approximation. So why not keep it up to date as soon as I change that? So this kind of jump in the dark. What is the correct expression there? But I think I'm just going to move this code and then hopefully stuff still works. Okay, let's see. I'm having scale update, I think, in a 3rd place. Yep, there. That was an update after W is changed. It's like a premature update. This scale is no longer used, I think, after this. Would be maybe, no, our board is not using it here. Well, it just has to work. I think it has to work. If it doesn't work, then I don't understand it either. Yeah, scale stuff work, more scale stuff. This reset, I still have to call, of course, yeah. Okay, let's, I don't know. Initialize on the scale. Weird new parabolic approximation. I was going to do that. Yeah. I think that the idea was that I make a non-pointer in the class. So we currently have scale separately, but it should be part of the parabolic approximation, and then just add it as a non-pointer, I guess. So maybe you should get rid of this scale completely, otherwise it will stop compiling. That won't work. Need something that evaluates to a double, it seems. History add takes a it takes an intrusive pointer even. Yeah. Bah. Bleh. I'll have to change that then. This is just used as an accessor. And here we also need to access the double valuoids. Oh boy, I don't know from which end to start making changes. I think I just comment everything out. Okay, let's make a temporary scale. Set that to what's a good value? I might as well just typed it. What is with this grid? This is not good. This grid is not good, looking good at all. Something's wrong with the grid. It should, well, this looks 0, 20, 40. That I understand. What the hell is this, man? Come on. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 divisions over a distance of 55. Maybe 5 divisions would have been working. So just 10 per step. Then 2 minus 15 minus 5, 5, 15. Okay, no, we can't do that one. Or just every 5, why not? You have to fix that one as well. Anyway, I think a good width is this distance, which is about 10. Then probably 9 here or whatever, but 10 is good enough. Let's say 10. Okay, look for scale. Again, the history is a different thing. No, I just want to pass. Well, let's say remove all the stars from the not commented out uses of scale. That was all. Yeah, apart from the 2 history adds, I guess. Yeah, that takes long. Add something scale. Might as well pass a double for this value. Yeah, okay, so we're going to completely remove scale and replace it with constant 10. Let's see what that does if I run this. It's the whole scale's not drawn. And we crash. Interesting. Unexpected as well. Yeah, I want to understand this because I had not expected that to happen. Best minimum is not pointing anywhere, but it is being used. I suppose I commented out the place where best minimum is being set. Or not. No, a new extreme is not set. Commented out in this part. That's why that is undefined, so I can't print it. Okay. Okay, maybe I think I'm gonna go for a walk. I have to walk an hour at least every day, and it's still the sun is still shining. I'll continue later. Yeah, it sounds like a good plan. Guys, thank you for keeping me company and keep working. Well, I'm assuming that's what you're doing. I'll be back after an hour, maybe longer, depends on how healthy I keep being outside. Like sitting in a terrace, drinking a cup of tea, maybe. It's very nice weather. See you.